umabot sa 6,481.16 kilos. The anti-drug campaigns under former President Rodrigo Duterte from July 2016 to July 2018 and the current President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. from July 22 to early 2024 represent contrasting approaches in tackling illegal drugs and the crime in the Philippines. While both administrations aim to reduce drug-related crimes, their methods and resulting outcomes reflect significant strategic and operational differences. Here is a detailed comparison of the first 2 years of the administration's campaign. As has been shown earlier, ang numero po ay hindi po nagsisinungaling. Ito po ay galing sa Philippine National Police. Duterte's anti-drug campaign was characterized by an aggressive, highly visible approach involving frequent operations and a high fatality count. His administration focused on eradicating drug activity at all levels, which led to widespread arrests and significant drops in crime, but also raised concerns over human rights and due process. In contrast, the Marcos administration appears to have adopted a more refined approach, with an emphasis on improved crime-solving rates and efficiency in enforcement. The significantly lower number of fatalities coupled with large drug seizures and high-value arrests suggests a strategic pivot towards disrupting drug networks through focused, intelligence-driven operations. This approach may reflect a more sustainable model aiming to dismantle supply chains rather than focusing on sheer arrest numbers or area saturation tactics. In conclusion, both administrations achieved reductions in crime and drug-related offenses, but the Duterte administration's approach was more intensive and controversial, with high casualties and widespread operations. The Marcos administration has made efforts to continue the campaign with fewer fatalities, a higher concentration on strategic arrests, and increased operational efficiency, suggesting a potential shift towards a more systematic and less violent anti-illegal drugs approach. The numbers mentioned above are real numbers. Sa totoo lang po, hindi namin alam ang mga tunay na pangyayari sa likod ng mga numerong ito hanggang nag-umpisa ang ating investigasyon. Ang sinabi na ating lahat na kwento ay ang karamihan ng mga pinatay ay kagagawan ng mga vigilantes na hindi pa nakikilala, habang ang mga natitira ay biktima naman ng legitimate police operations kung saan ang mga pinatay ay sinabing ng laban. Sa mga testimonyang malayang ipinahayag sa ating mga pandinig, ay naipakita na marahil dito ay bunga ng pamamaslang ng mga operatiba o pulis na inutusang pilitin ang mga nahuhuli na manlaban upang tuluyan na silang mapatay. Sa pahayag ng dating Pangulong Duterte sa Senado, sinabi niya na totoong sinabihan niya ang kapulisan na mag-encourage o himukin ang mga suspects na lumaban upang patayin na sila at nang sa gayon ay matapos na ang problema. Mas nakakagimbal ang mga pahayag na may pabuya o reward ang mga operatibang makakapatay ng mga nasa listahan ng drug personalities. Hindi ito may kakaila sapagkat marami na ang nagsabi, kabilang na si dating Special Assistant to the President na ngayon ay Senador Bongo, sa kanyang mga interviews noon, kasagsagan ng war on drugs. Ang pangakong pabuya ang malamang na naging dahilan ng paglobo ng dami ng pinatay. Without validation of the so-called narco-lists, names may be added at will, whether or not the person is a drug personality, as in the case of General Wesley Barayuga, whose name was added to the list way after he was killed. May mga nagsasabi na maganda ang mga naganap na patayan sapagkat mga drug lords naman po ang napatay o ang mga adik na kriminal. Subalit sa aming investigasyon, lumalabas na may mga ibang drug lords nga na napatay, subalit iilan lamang, samantalang madaming mga malalaking drug lords ang nagpatuloy sa kanilang gawain at na protektahan pa ng gobyerno at nabigyan pa ng titulo imbes na maimbestigahan. Libo-libo ang mga pinatay ng mga tricycle drivers, homeless na nasa kariton, construction workers, at mga ordinaryong tao na halos wala nang ang makain at walang laban, mga taong napagtripan na lamang. Ito ba ang mga drug lords? Pangkain nga, wala sila. Pangdroga pa kaya? Mga batang inosente gaya ni Kian de los Santos, basta na konsunadaan ka, delikado ka na. Lahat ng patay may reward na katumbas. Sino ba ang ayaw maging ligtas ang ating mga lansangan sa mga masasamang elemento? Subalit kung ang mga pinalit sa mga masasamang elementong ito ay mga otoridad na naghahanap buhay, mas nakakatakot maglakad sa lansangan at baka masama ka sa missing persons or unsolved homicide cases. Ipagpalagay na natin na mga adik ang ibang pinatay. Bakit pa tayo naglaan ng daang-daang milyon sa pagtatayo ng mga drug rehab centers kung papatayin din lamang natin sila? Ito ba ang dahilan kung bakit hindi nagamit ng full capacity or in full capacity yung ating mega rehabilitation center na nandoon sa Nueva Ecija? Pag drug addict ka ba, wala ka ng karapatang mabuhay dahil wala ka ng silbi sa buhay? Ang mga pinatay ay mga tatay, nanay, anak, kapatid, apo, mga membro ng pamilya na may mga nagmamahal. Napakinggan natin dito ang kanilang mga naulila. Sila'y kaawa-awa at kalunos-lunos. It is really sad that human lives were lost and wasted just to prove a point that we are against illegal drugs. The right to life is paramount as it is God-given and precedes all other human rights. Without life, there can be no rights. Quadcomm will not sit idly by in the face of all these discoveries. We intend to get to the bottom of all these issues fairly, honestly, and truthfully. Hiningi po namin ang inyong buong pagtitiwala. Hindi po kami nag-aakusa lamang dahil sa politika o ano paman. Kayo po ang humusga. Inilalatag lamang namin ang aming mga impormasyon at katotohanan base sa mga salaysay, tunay na pangyayari at mga dokumentong nakalap sa aming mga pag-iimbestiga. Patuloy po naming babantayan at sisiya sa atin ang mga aligasyon, akusasyon at impormasyon para mapangalagaan ang ating bayan. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Human Rights, Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa atin pong Senior Deputy Speaker, sa ating Deputy Speaker, sa aking mga co-chairs, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues at mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. We gather here once more for the 10th time, not merely to sit in one of our typical hearings, in order to file one of our usual committee reports, but for something far greater. We have convened again because we cannot and we must not lose sight of the purpose that drives us, the pursuit of justice for the victims of illegal drugs, for the victims of pogos, and for the victims of extrajudicial killings. To help remind us of why we dedicate so much of our time to this task, I ask you to remember the name of Kian de los Santos, that young man, that minor, whose life was tragically cut short by a bullet fired in the dark. We are here today for Kian and for the countless innocents like him who died in the name of a misguided, bloody war on drugs. To our people and to everyone here, I say, enough. Enough with the gaslighting. Enough with the distractions. Enough with the squid tactics. We cannot be knocked off course by words meant to confuse or mislead. At this point, there is one voice we must focus on, one that was used under oath in the halls of the Senate. Last week, former President Duterte himself spoke before the Senate and the nation, and in his own words, took responsibility for the blood spilled in his war on drugs. He did not deny. He did not deflect. He admitted that he gave orders that directed our own police forces to encourage suspected criminals to fight back so they could be killed. Under oath, he told us this without shame and without remorse. This was not hearsay. This was not a speculation. This was a declaration from the man himself. He went further. Under oath, he admitted to the existence of the Davao Death Squad, an entity with a lethal mandate that was replicated around the whole country when PRRD was elected president in 2016. But the former president did not stop there. He pointed his finger at a sitting senator, a member of our very government, and named him a part of the DDS, not a Duterte defending senator, no, but a member of the notorious Davao Death Squad. Ano ang sinabi ni PRRD? And I quote, yung isang senador, yung nakaupo dyan, si Senator De La Rosa, Death Squad rin yan. End of quote. And now comes this familiar refrain. It was all a joke. Biro lamang daw. But I ask you, my friends and my colleagues, I ask you, who makes jokes under oath? Who laughs while mothers bury their sons? Who finds humor in this horror? This is no laughing matter. The lives lost, the grief that lingers, the blood spilled in our streets, these are not punchlines in a cruel joke. These are lives, young innocent lives taken from us. But perhaps we should not be surprised. Perhaps we should not be shocked that this sacred issue, the sanctity of life, is treated so trivially. We have seen time and time again how human life has been cheapened, how easily these men speak of death, how casually they wash their hands off the blood of the innocent. As Proverbs 31 verse 8 and 9 reminds us, and I quote, "Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all, such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy." End of quote. We are commanded to raise our voices for those who cannot speak, to seek righteousness for those who have been silenced, and to demand justice for those who have suffered unjustly. This, my friends, this is why we must not falter. This is why we must not rest, why we must not turn away. We have a responsibility, not only to the victims, but to our nation. We must continue this work, unyielding, unrelenting, uncompromising. Mga kasama, we have the statement of the former president. We also have testimony and evidence that corroborates what he said under oath. Now, we must hold to account those who have perpetrated these heinous crimes. Now we must ensure that the cries of the oppressed are not drowned out by laughter, that the dignity of human life is restored, and that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. And as we press forward, let us remember this. We do not stand here alone. We stand with Kian. We stand with his family. We stand with a 3-year-old killed by a stray bullet in Cebu. We stand with a 9-year-old killed in Caloocan, and the death certificate showed that he died of pneumonia. We stand with a tricycle driver gunned down just because the drug lord rode in his tricycle. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand with every victim of this dark and bloody campaign. The banality of evil must come to an end. We stand for those who cannot speak, for the voices that were silenced too soon, and we stand with the promise, the solemn vow, that we will do everything in our power to ensure this never happens in our country again. So with hearts full of resolve and eyes fixated on justice, let us continue this work. For if we are to be remembered, if the 19th Congress is to be remembered, let it be not for the jokes or the gaslighting, but for our dedication to the truth, our commitment to justice, and our compassion for those who suffer. Mga kaibigan, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Congressman Abante. The next to deliver his opening remarks is Congressman, the Chair of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Mr. Chairman, I have no opening remarks for today's hearing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The next to deliver his opening remarks is the Chair of the Committee on Public Accounts, Congressman Caraps Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. The Joint Committee has conducted 10 public hearings, and over the course of these proceedings, numerous witnesses have come forward, reinforcing suspicions of widespread abuses during the Duterte administration's war on drugs. Thus, a significant question has arisen regarding the safety of these witnesses and what they stand to gain from their cooperation. First and foremost, I want to put on record that telling the truth is its own reward. There is inherent value in honesty because it upholds personal integrity, contributes to justice, and fosters trust. By coming forward, these witnesses contribute to uncovering the realities of past actions and ensuring accountability. Their testimonies play a crucial role in strengthening the integrity of our institutions and promoting justice and transparency. Having said that, it is the obligation of the House of Representatives to ensure the protection and security of these witnesses. As a legislative body dedicated to uncovering the truth, the safeguarding justice, the House has a duty to support and protect those who come forward in good faith to share their testimony. The House recognizes the witnesses in sensitive inquiries may face threats, intimidation, or retaliation. As such, it is incumbent upon us to take all necessary measures to shield them from harm. Current laws does not grant the House of Representatives the authority to directly confer immunity from suit. However, we can recommend our witnesses for the Department of Justice Witness Protection Program, which offers both legal protection and additional support. By making this recommendation, we can ensure that witnesses who provide vital information are shielded from prosecution related to their testimonies, in line with the provisions of Republic Act number 6981. This action requires the consent of the witnesses and approval of our Speaker. In addition, we may consider the option of granting protective custody to ensure the physical safety of resource persons who may be at risk due to their involvement in this investigation. While protective custody does not provide immunity from legal actions, it is an established measure that can provide immediate security during the course of our proceedings. Both actions will require a collective decision from the members of the Joint Committee. This ensures that we act transparently and uphold the principles of democracy. Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with the continuation of our inquiry, this representation would like to put on record and address certain critical concerns relative to the conduct of the parallel inquiry of the Senate Blue Ribbon Subcommittee on the drug war implemented during the previous administration on October 28, 2024. To set things into clear perspective, this representation fully recognizes the authority of the Senate to investigate the details of the implementation of the drug war, as both chambers of Congress are constitutionally permitted to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation in accordance with our duly published rules. However, while the authority of the Senate will never be put into question, what is particularly concerning is the seeming disregard for proper courtesy and lack of impartiality by a member of the subcommittee. In particular, I am referring to the actions of Senator Ronaldo Bato de la Rosa. Allow me to discuss this detail, Mr. Chairman. Senator Bato de la Rosa action of participating as a member in a proceeding where he is named as one of the individuals involved in the implementation of drug war did not produce meaningful results, but rather cast doubts on the integrity of the whole process. In fact, prior to the hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator De La Rosa even insisted that the investigation should be heard by his own committee. This action of a sitting member of Congress not only demonstrates disregard to existing rules and processes, but also undermines the integrity of the institution that he is bound to respect. Kung sa simula pa lamang ay gumamit na siya ng impluensya, ano pa ang aasahan natin sa kanya sa mga gaganapin nilang pagdinig? He was the PNP chief when the previous implementation introduced the war on drugs. He also admitted that there were killings attributed to the war because of alleged cases of nanlaban. In short, he was not only involved, but was in fact one of the figureheads of the campaign during its inception. Hence, he should have been mindful that his presence in the hearing as a
Get G-Insure travel insurance for as low as 350 pesos.
daily. Clearly, this is conflict of interest on his part. At the very least, he should have inhibited from the proceedings and instead offered himself as a resource person so as not to influence and intimidate the other guests. Unfortunately, the Honorable Senator failed to observe this. Even after the hearing, Senator Bato continued to conduct himself in a manner contrary to what is expected from a member of Congress. Asked about his comment on whether he was part of the Davao hit squad, whose existence was confirmed under oath by former President Duterte during the subcommittee hearing. Senator De La Rosa downplayed the same, claiming that the former president was just joking and there was no death squad to speak of. Now begs the question, why would the committee member defend and even interpret a clear statement made by a resource person in a congressional hearing? The confirmation by the former president needed no interpretation, much less from a member of the panel who investigated the same. If you would ask me, it is as if the Honorable Senator came to the defense of the former president while seeking to exonerate himself from any liability. This is further highlighted by his recent statement that he will be objecting any action of the Senate regarding the submission of records to the ICC. The Honorable Senator's recent actions are truly disappointing, Mr. Chairman. We are conducting these inquiries in order to fill the legislative gaps and address problems that necessitate immediate solution. In doing so, we also want to ascertain the truth about abuses and other acts related to illegal drugs, Pogo's energy case. Mahirap man ang hamon sa atin na palabasin ang katotohanan. Sa palagay ko ay napagtatagumpayan natin ito. In closing, this representation wishes to remind our Honorable Senator to observe courtesy and fairness in conducting his official responsibility as a member of the Senate instead of resorting to other means so as to discredit the efforts of this body. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madamong salamat.
Thank you, Congressman Paduano. Before we proceed with the admin matters, may we request that the guests, the honorable members who are present, as well as our resource persons, be acknowledged. And the COMSEC is directed to acknowledge the presence of the members as well as our resource persons for today. But before that, let me inform everybody that for today's committee hearing, dalawa po yung ating topic, no? Ang ating topic sa umaga ay yung usapin tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And then later in the afternoon, we will shift to the issue of the extrajudicial killings as a result of the implementation of the war on drugs. So, COMSEC, please acknowledge our guests and our members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honorable members, honorable chairs. For today's hearing, we have with us Honorable Robert Ace Barbers, Honorable Dan S. Fernandez, Honorable Joseph Stephen Caraps Paduano, Honorable Bienvenido Abante Jr., Honorable Romeo Acop, Honorable Raul Daniel Manuel, Honorable Jonathan Keith Flores, Honorable Gabriel Bordado, Honorable Johnny Pimentel, Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzalez, Honorable Arlene Brosas, Honorable Francisco Paulo Ortega V, Honorable Edward Vera Perez Maceda, Honorable Zia Alonto Adjong, Honorable Jervil Jinky Beatrix Luistro, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, and Honorable Seriaco Gato Jr. For our resource persons, we have with us from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, Attorney Iranio A. Dumale, the Deputy Director, Attorney Luis Anthony K. Warren, Attorney Darius M. Canulas. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Attorney Scranton Orculio. From the Commission on Human Rights, we have its Executive Director, Attorney Jacqueline De Guia, Ms. Eileen Paradero, and Ms. Rachel Pelayo. From the Department of Justice, we have Attorney Wesley Young. From the Land Registration Authority, we have Attorney Paulo Tamayo and Attorney John Paul Hidalgo. From the National Police Commission, we have Commissioner Alberto A. Bernardo, the Vice Chairperson and the Chief Executive Officer of Quadcomm. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Assistant Director Glenn Ricarte, Assistant Regional Director Ferdinand Lavin, Attorney Ross Jonathan Galicia, Attorney John Mark Santiago, Special Agent Florendo Gamunac, Attorney Florendo Gamunac, Ms. Agrafina de la Cruz, Attorney Chris Godinez, and Attorney Yantel Malika. From the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, we have Director Ferlo J. Silvo and Director Alden Juan Masagka and Mr. Nick Faildon. From the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, we have its Director General Lazo, ASEC Renato Gumban, Director Emeterio M. Bitong, Director Emerson Margate, and Director Emerson Margate. From the Philippine National Police, we have Attorney Brigido de Jesus Dulay, Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III, the Director of the CIDG, Police Brigadier General Elias Mata, the Director of the PIDEG, and from the non-government agencies, the Center for International Law sent their excuse letter. And we have with us from the National Union of People's Lawyers, we have the former Bayan Muna Congressman Attorney Nery Colmenares, Attorney Cristina Conti. We have also representatives of Rise Up for Life and for Rights and victims of families of victims, Ms. Dalia Cuartero, Liore Pasco, Cristina Pascual, Marian Erorita, Salvacion Ramos, Shira Escudero, Rowena Morales, Norma Lopez, Marilu Modesto, and Teresita Adrias. And of course, we have with us the Advocates for Human Rights, led by the missionary Rebecca Lawson and Deaconess Robilin Litao. Also from Program Paghilom, we have its Executive Director, Father Flavi L. Villanueva, SVD, Mr. Randy De Los Santos, a witness, Ms. Arsenia Chico, also a witness, Tesam Castillo, and Elizabeth Campo. From the Bureau of Corrections, we have with us Mr. Ian Jake S. Harave and Senior Superintendent Gerardo F. Padilla. Again, from the Philippine National Police, we have with us Police Colonel Rolando Villela, Police Colonel Serafin Petalio, Police Colonel Marvin Marcos, Police Colonel Redentor Olsano, Police Captain Delfinito Anuba, Police Lieutenant Colonel Santi F. Mendoza, Police Lieutenant Colonel Jason Bombasi, Senior Inspector Emil Garcia, Police Major General Felipe Natividad, Police Colonel Loie D. Jonglay, and those from the CITG, Police Colonel Serafin Petalio, Police Lieutenant Colonel Chetadel Carandong Gayran, Police Lieutenant Colonel Marcelino Basconilio Pipo Jr., Police Lieutenant Colonel Raycon Lalaan Garduque, PSMS Deborah Cruz Cordova. Another set of PNP officials, now the Cavite Acting Mayor and former Police Brigadier General Edwin Carranza, Police Colonel Edwin Quilates, the former Batangas Provincial Director. Also from the CITG Halili, Police Senior Superintendent Edward Caranza, Senior Superintendent Edwin Quelantes, Senior Superintendent Gairan, and Police Superintendent Joseph Reyes Arguelles, and Police Superintendent Judy Lopez. And from former government officials, we have Mr. Wilkins M. Villanueva, the former Police PDEA Director, is here. And former Senator Laila S. De Lima, and Police Colonel Edelberto Leonardo, and Police Colonel Jovi Espinido. We also have with us Mr. Carlos Conde, the Philippine researcher of the International Human Rights Watch. We also have with us Miss Rose Nonolin. Andito, Rose Nonolin.
Mr. Chair,
Miss Rose
Mr.
Nonolin.
Chair, can those,
May I ask first, Congressman Abante, to let us allow do you still have a lot of names to acknowledge, Comsec?
No more, Mr.
No more?
Chair.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you. Congressman
can they
Abante.
just sit right there in the witness chair, those that have been called?
Do you have a person in particular who you would like to sit in front? Because of the number of resource persons we invited today, it seems that the whole room is too small for our guests. So, do you have anyone in particular, Congressman Abante, that you would like to see face to face?
Example, Miss Roslyn is here and I don't see her.
Miss
Roslyn.
are you here? Are you present?
Nonolin.
Can you take the seat in front of Congressman Abante? Yes, Comsec.
Sir, we also have with us Attorney Dexter Lopez from Tagum, also a human rights advocate, and Mr. Sunny Buenaventura.
Okay. Thank you, Comsec. So we will now proceed to all our guests. Good morning at welcome po dito sa ating 10th Joint Public Hearing ng Quadcomm. Medyo pagpasensyahan niyo na po na medyo baka matagal-tagalan po tayo ngayon sa dami po ng ating naimbitahan. And we will try our best to really be able to ask you questions in the hearing for today. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
okay, Congressman Fernandez and then Congressman Abante.
I was trying to look at the names that are being mentioned by the COMSEC. And I think he's in the last 2 pages. Actually, monitor ko po yung mga binabanggit niya. And tong sila other key personalities and yung mga minention din ni Colonel Garma are not yet mentioned yet. So, would you kindly finish your mentioning of all those persons who are present today?
Yes, sir. Those I read are the ones present, but we invited a lot of personalities. I guess it's in the
So in other words, you are done with the those who have
those who are present
today.
Those who did not appear today, I think will be tackled by during the
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Yes, Congressman Abante.
Kaya ko po binanggit si Miss Roslyn, tinatanong po sa akin ni Congressman Fernandez kung nasan siya.
Okay.
Ando nasa harapan lang po siya, makikita mo po.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Abante. Now, we will proceed with the admin matters, and with that, may we call on Congressman Paduano. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. before we proceed with the admin matters on all invitees, Mr. Chairman, with regards to documents being requested and ordered by this honorable committee, particularly number one, the DOJ, for the DOJ, conduct and submit to the Joint Committee on Investigation against PNP personnel who were involved in the killing of the late Mayor Rolando Espinosa. And the remarks as of now is ongoing. Can we get some updates on this from the NBI and DOJ, Mr. Chairman, with regards to Mayor Rolando Espinosa killing, the investigation that was directed to you by this committee, reopening of the investigation? Just a brief lang po.
Your Honor, yesterday I met with the representatives of the DOJ, and I was informed that the Secretary of Justice, Attorney Boying Remulla, has just created a special task force that would assist the Quadcomm in the investigation and the filing of the necessary cases against anyone that would be found liable in the course of our investigation for all extrajudicial killings that happened. And they will submit to us an update, a progress report as to how far the Department of Justice has gone in the investigation.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman, for the clarification. Now let's go to PDEA. Provide names of provinces and or areas with AGK-related drugs. Anyway, I've talked with DG Lasso. Ang problema po, nahirapan silang kumuha ng record. So ongoing to, but I instructed the Lola that the DIDM should provide us all the documents available with regards to all the drug-related killings from 2016 to 2022 and directed them to submit the documents within the day po. So let us see if that documents will suffice with regards to the investigation of all AGK cases from 2016 to 2022. Now, to the DFA, they have already submitted the records of Edita Yang, and to the AMLAC with regards to asset preservation order to the properties of Edita Yang and the spouses Pangilinan. Still ongoing, no? Still ongoing. Now, and all other documents that was requested last hearing, that was October 22, was already submitted to the COMSEC, Mr. Chairman. As of, I have just received a document coming from the Legal Affairs Department of the House of Representatives with regards to possible application of granting of legislative immunity to the members, to the witnesses of this investigation, Mr. Chairman. And I move, Mr. Chairman, that discussion on this letter coming from the Legal Affairs will be deferred on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
That's
So move, Mr.
noted.
Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, let's go with the invitations now. I have with the committee has received a copy of letter coming from the Law Office of Castaños and Teves representing Ms. Muking Espino, and attached herewith are medical records, with regards to the medical status of Ms. Muking Espino, and this is an answer to the show cause order that was issued last October 22, 2024, Mr. Chairman. And with this, Mr. Chairman, I move that we issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino on the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion to issue a subpoena ad testificandum for Ms. Muking Espino.
Muking Espino, Mr. Chairman.
Muking Espino, and duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And I would like to inform the COMSEC, Mr. Chairman, to the chairman, that the address supposedly to send invitation for Ms. Muking Espino should be in the city government of Davao, because Muking Espino is employed in the said local government unit, Mr. Chairman.
COMSEC, please take note of the address of Ms. Ermina Espino.
We have also received a copy of a letter coming from the lawyer of Senator Bongo. explanation why I cannot attend today's hearing, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy from the Chief of Staff of Senator Bongo and the person of Gregorio Angelo Villar, Mr. Chairman.
That's noted.
Mr. Chairman, we have also received a letter that was signed by Cesar P. Manalaysay, Managing Partner of Mr. Len Wishong, and informing this committee that Mr. Len Wishong is currently out of the country and will not be able to attend the hearing today. While Ms. Rose Nunulin, the spouse of Mr. Len Wishong, is also present today. Thank you for coming, ma'am. Next is the letter coming from Attorney Carpio. Attorney Mans Carpio. And in this letter, Mr. Chairman, he is requesting, requesting to be excused in today's hearing because of no ample time to prepare and study the nature, purpose, and scope, and is requesting 4 copies of the following documents at least 3 days before the next schedule: affidavits of witnesses, minutes of the previous meetings, inquiries, other similar and related documents or statements. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I move that defer discussion on this letter sent to us by Mr. Mans Castro to be discussed, Carpio, to be discussed on the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman. With regards to the documents being requested by Mr. Carpio, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion as stated. Any second? Duly seconded. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And we have received a copy of a letter coming from the former Commissioner Faildon. And since he's present, I think I've seen
Yes,
Faildon.
former Commissioner
Yeah.
Faildon is present.
Mr. Chairman, since he's present in today's hearing, we'll just ask him about the content of his letter and the later part when the time of former Commissioner Faildon will be up to. Again, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy of a statement from the Science Batch 80 with regards to the Barioga case, no? And calling for justice. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy of that, of this letter coming from Science High School Batch 80. And we have also a copy of a letter coming from the Department of Foreign Affairs with regards to the whereabouts of Bismaila Roque, whereabouts of Eddie Yang, Yang Jajing, and the basis for cancellation of US visa of Ms. Ruina Garma, etc. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman. And if the committee would want to discuss about it, we will discuss this in the later part of this hearing, Mr. Chairman. And lastly, turn to the last one, Mr. Chairman, we have received a copy, letter coming from the former retired Police Senior Superintendent Eduardo Arceto. As for my knowledge, is with our meeting today hearing through Zoom, Mr. Chairman.
We have extended an invitation to the former Colonel Asherto, who is now in Zoom, and will be called later later in the day when we resume our discussions after the admin matters, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, second to the last lang po to. We have also received a letter coming from Mercado and Associates Law Office representing Police Colonel Hector Gialdo, and attached with is a contract between Police Colonel Gialdo and the services of Mercado and Associates Law Office. And the letter was signed by Attorney J.P. Mercado. Is Attorney Mercado present? Comsec? Attorney Mercado? Okay. Mr. Chairman, we defer discussion on the letter of Hector Police Colonel Giardo since the lawyer of the good Colonel Giardo is present. We will just ask the lawyer later, Mr. Chairman. And his official entry of appearance in today's hearing. Now, Now, lastly, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, we have received now,
Mr. Chair,
no?
with the indulgence of the Honorable Paduano,
With the indulgence of Congressman Paduano, Congressman Acop, you're recognized.
may I know if Colonel Grijaldo has an excuse letter insofar as his absence in today's hearing is concerned?
None. Attached here with is the letter, no cover letter of coming from the lawyer himself, and at the same time, only attached medical certificates without a letter excuse coming from Colonel Grijaldo, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, may I move that we issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo to explain his absence in today's hearing in spite of the invitation made? So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to issue a show cause order to Colonel Grijaldo for being absent today. Any second?
Second.
Duly seconded. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
And lastly,
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
just on the topic of Colonel Hector Grijaldo, I was going through the pages that were sent regarding his absence. Nakikita ko po dito sa kanyang patients first. Apparently, this is a medical explanation kung why he is not here because he's suffering from shoulder pain. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, there is no date indicated in the prescription letter. Other than that, on another page of his medical certificate, again, there is no date mentioned in his letter that he has forwarded to the committee. So I would just like to find out, Mr. Chair, is this verified and true?
Maybe we can ask his lawyer, Your Honor. We will defer the discussion on the matter of Colonel Grijaldo.
Okay,
When
I
we-
will defer to the better judgment of the chair. It is something that I noticed when I was going through the documents. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
DSJJ.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Fernandez.
Well, dapat hindi na po ako magsasalita about this because he mentioned our name in the affidavit that he testified in the Senate. And accordingly, when I saw the yung motion po ni Chairman Ako, may walang po nga nakita na wala siyang excuse letter and justified po yung pag-move for the show cause order. And at the same time, nung binanggit naman ni DS also yung pong medical certificate, I think this is a prescription. And accordingly, nakalagay po dito yung kanyang problema, yung chronic left shoulder dislocation, and there are like procedure for MRI. Maybe we can ask the pihaw, no? Kasi I believe that andito ba yung pihaw natin sa PNP?
because Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman, with the indulgence of Congressman Co-Chair Dan Fernandez, we'll just discuss it later, no? And will in fact, if you want to speak something about what really transpired during your conversation with Grijaldo, may I ask you to vacate your position as co-chair and be one of the spokesperson.
As
Oh,
well.
Maputla ang labi. Para di kulang sa dugo, mag-United Hope for Sulfate Iron.
Chairmanship in order to discuss this in transparent and impartial and honest investigation on this matter because this pertains to the integrity of this Quadcomm and we don't want that this Quadcomm be deluged with so many bad comments about what Chairman Abante and this representation have done in order to bear out the truth about
Congressman-
the conformity of Colonel Grijaldo. Unfortunately, he's not here right now, and he is sick, and that saddened us as well because we wanted really the members to ask him about what really happened, if there was really indeed a coercion and harassment that was done by Chairman Abante and myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and with that, if we will be discussing our issue with Colonel Grijaldo already, this representation on I will be yielding my position as a chairman of this committee.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman
And
Fernandez.
also be subjected to the procedure of a resource person. If indeed we need to be subjected to the procedure being undertaken by this
Okay,
committee.
that's noted, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Fernandez. Before that,
Gentleman
Congressman Adjong, let me ask if Congressman Paduano is already done with your
Not yet, Mr. Chairman. This will be the last invitees.
Just a matter of
with the
with
indulgence
indulgence
of
of-
Congressman Paduano. Okay, so
May I proceed? Mr.
please
Chairman?
proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And last, but not the least, at last, we received a letter coming from the former president, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the authority given to Attorney Delgra, no, as his counsel in this investigation, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, no, and I think all the members has a copy of the letter coming from Attorney Delgra, no, with regards to the reply of the former president on the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chairman. So I give the floor to
Mr. Chair.
the chairman and to the wisdom of the members of this committee how we will go about with regards to the letter of Attorney Delgra representing the former president. And Comsec, may I ask, is Attorney Delgra present?
Not today, sir.
Before we discuss with that, Mr. Chairman, I move, since, of course, he has a letter sent to us, no, the former president, giving authority to Attorney Delgra, I move, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a show cause order for Attorney Delgra to be present on the next hearing on the basis of his letter, no, and the authenticity of such authority given to him by the former president. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Again,
There is before we rule on the motion,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just like to
let
be
me allow
recognized.
the members who wish to manifest, no? While we are at this subject matter on the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra as the counsel to the former president, may we ask what is the pleasure of
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Diong?
Mr. Chair, before I touch on the issue raised just now by Chairman Carabs Paduano, Mr. Chair, while our invitees' names were mentioning by our COMSEC, I noticed, Mr. Chair, that one of our invited guests is present in today's hall. I noticed that former Commissioner Nicanor Faildon stood up when his name was mentioned. And just to be fair to our guests who are present today, may I humbly request, Mr. Chair, that our COMSEC assist our guest to his seat, because I believe I saw his name tag, nameplate on the table, so he will be seated properly at the table, Mr. Chair. So may I request former Commissioner Nicanor Faildon to proceed to the table to his assigned seat, and direct our secretary to please assist him.
Okay, thank you. Paige, can you please assist former Commissioner Faildon to his seat?
Mr. Chair, may I proceed? Mr. Chair. On the matters of the letter of the Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I believe, Mr. Chair, that the letter that was sent to this committee is about the reasons why the former president opted not to attend this committee hearing. As we all know, Mr. Chair, previous days ago, he attended the Senate inquiry on the same subject matter, Mr. Chair. I would just like to be enlightened as to how do we go about with the standing invitation to our resource persons. I understand, Mr. Chair, that the committee, this Quad committee, has been so lenient to the former president and to some individuals. And I agree with the leniency we have extended to the former president, according to him, being a former president and being a former head of state, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, some of the guests here who were not present, sent us a letter, an excuse letter, specifying medical reasons. And for some, they have also sent their lawyers to represent them. I believe the lawyer of the former president, Attorney Delgra, is being given authority by his client, this being the former president, to appear on his behalf. Because as I was glancing over the letter of Attorney Delgra, specifying the reasons why the former president decided not to attend this committee hearing. And some of them are, to me, is some of the reasons, at least on my part, the way I understood it, is not only on the basis of him avoiding or refusing to attend the Quadcomm, but he even went to assail the integrity of the Quad Committee and even questioning the impartiality of some of the members of this Quad Committee. Now, I believe some of the members in the Senate, our counterpart, have also been extended the same invitation. But due to interparliamentary courtesy, we understand we never forced for these individuals to appear before this committee. I just want to be clarified as to the questions of attacking the credibility of the Quad Committee, and to some extent even questioning the impartiality of some of the members here, and in totality questioning the integrity of this Quad Committee. I really would want to ask Attorney Delgra to expound on this letter, because the former president attended the Senate committee investigation and so generously shared his thoughts on his policy on the war against illegal drugs. And as I was glancing over the letter, I also noticed that there are even some allegations of subordination, that some of the members here coerced a certain individual to say something which basically inducing perjury. So that is something to me that is cannot be just simply ignored, because it borders criminal acts, Mr. Chair. And the third one, Mr. Chair, is that the reason why the former president is not present today, it's because, according to his lawyer, he has sufficiently and generously shared his inputs and insights and comments to the Senate subcommittee chaired by Senator Coco Pimentel. But unfortunately, my confusion, Mr. Chair, is that when his allies, his spokesperson, was asked about the truthfulness of his responses to the interpellation of one of the members of the Senate, he told the public that it was merely a joke, that the truthfulness of the statements of the former president seems to be in question. Because how can we take something which is a joke? So it makes me, it's difficult for me, Mr. Chair, to just simply take as it is at face value the transcript from the Senate, when we do not even know which part of his statements is a joke and which part of his statement is real and true. These questions I would really want to ask to his lawyer. Now again, we don't require the former president to be present because we accorded to him the leniency and the respect that she deserves as a former head of state.
That we issue an invitation to Attorney Decra rather than issuing the show cause order. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to invite Attorney Delgra.
Sige naman.
Before we go with the indulgence of Congressman Akop, because there was a motion that the chair and the committee was about to rule. Now, because of that, there are interjections. And because there are interjections from the co-chairs, we would like to entertain first before we rule. Now, in this case, Congressman Paduano, and then Congressman Dan Fernandez, and then Congressman Ace Barbers. Okay, is that yes, Congressman Paduano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ganito lang po, Mr. Chairman, why I moved to issue a show cause, but I don't have any debate with regards to the possible amendments to my motion with regards to the show cause order for Attorney Delgra. But remember, Mr. Chairman, that we have already sent 2 invitations. This is the second hearing that we invited the former president. And the first invitation was answered by Attorney Delgra for on behalf of the president in the absence of that authority being requested by this committee to this representation during the last hearing. Now, Mr. Chairman, looking at the answer, looking at the reply of Attorney Delgra on the first hearing, well, Mr. Chairman, naglulukuhan tayo dito. Why? Why? Because the first reply made by Attorney Delgra representing the former president is that the excuse is that the former president needs much rest, and assured this committee that he will be present in the next hearing. At the same time, he has a specific date, Mr. Chairman, given to this committee through this letter after November 1. And let me read, Mr. Chairman, allow me to read in toto the portion of such reply coming from Attorney Delgra. Hence, my client respectfully requests to defer his appearance before the Honorable Committee scheduled tomorrow. Rest assured of my client's willingness to appear before the House of Representatives on some other available date, preferably after November 1, 2024. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, the invitation that was sent to the former president and was answered by Attorney Delgra was before the presence of the former president in the Senate. And he has promised us, this committee, through his letter, that after November 1, he will be present in today's hearing. Ano to? Naglulukuhan tayo dito? Well, in fact, I will not discuss and argue with our colleague, Congressman Kit Flores, with regards to the content of this second letter. But, malinaw po kami, Mr. Chairman, na naglulukuhan tayo dito. Naglulukuhan tayo dito because the first letter promised us that he will be present after November 1. Kung hindi tayo naglulukuhan dito, ay ano? Natatakot siya? Na pumunta dito? Ay siya, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to reiterate once again that we should invite again the former president to be present in the next hearing.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman
Mr. Chair.
Paduano.
Mr. Chair.
As I promised, Congressman Fernandez,
Yes.
and then we will rule on the motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Congressman
Mr. Chairman, there are 3 reasons mentioned by Attorney Delgra in consultation with the former president para hindi po siya umattend ng ating pong hearing. First, binanggit po niya yung pangalan ko at binanggit niya yung pangalan ni Chairman Abante. That nag-prejudge na po kami doon sa mga binanggit niya po doon sa Senado and citing some provision of Republic Act 9851, particularly Section 6 on the willful killing. And with this, Mr. Chairman, we are being accused that nabahidan ng prejudgment yung mga issue that he mentioned. With that, Mr. Chairman, para lang po mawala na tong issue to. Again, Mr. Chairman, I'm willing, this representation is willing to inhibit myself in asking questions with regards to this willful killing. And I hope that my co-chair here, Chairman Abante, will do the same in relation to the first issue that the former president, with consultation of his lawyer, cited in this letter. Secondly, that's the reason why we asked the presence of Colonel Grijaldo to be here, because he accused us of coercion and harassment and threats. And that's the reason why we are questioning, yung mga medical certificate that he submitted to this Congress. We wanted that the integrity of this Quadcomm will be cleared eventually. And with that, Mr. Chairman, eradicating the coercion and harassment and the threats that he accused us, then the reason for the President not to attend on this Quadcomm will be eliminated. Thirdly, Mr. Chairman, the only last reason that he mentioned in this letter is all the questions were already answered in the Senate. And that is not true, because we have a lot of 20,000 questions that we wanted to ask him. And with this, Mr. Chairman, yung pong reason niya for not to be here is not acceptable. So, Mr. Chairman, I believe that my position, in trying to inhibit ourselves in this investigation pertaining to the number one issue that he mentioned, and also with the issue of Colonel Grijaldo, we will comply with the mandate of this Quadcomm to inhibit ourselves and be a part of the resource persons that will be questioned by the members of this Quadcomm. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Dan Fernandez. Now, Congressman Ace Barbers. There was a motion earlier that the committee invite Attorney
Mr. Chairman, you are recognized.
Thank you. That Attorney Delgra, being the counsel of the former president, be invited in the next hearing, and we direct the committee secretariat to take note of that and send the invite in the next Quadcomm hearing to Attorney Delgra. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objections?
I object, Mr. Chair.
May I know what is the objection of
We
Congressman?
get nothing from him, Mr. Chair. He always just gonna say is that is what my client said. So that's the end of it, Mr. Chair.
1 minute suspension. Hearing is resumed.
Mr. Chair,
Let me just
parliamentary inquiry.
let me just state the parliamentary status before we went on recess. The parliamentary status is that we are approving and voting on the motion by Congressman Acop to invite Attorney Delgra, being the lawyer and counsel of the former president. And when the chair asked for a second, there was a second to this motion. But when the chair asked for an objection, there was an objection stated by Congressman Keith Flores. Am I made to understand, Congressman Flores, that you are withdrawing your objection?
Yung gumawa si Jill. Malalaki kasi ang ginawa ni Roy.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll withdraw my objection if Attorney Delga will enter his appearance. But as far as the questions that we want to ask of him, sir, I'll reiterate my position, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is noted. Thank you. Since the objection of Congressman Flores has been withdrawn, then the chair will rule that the motion is approved. Yes, Congressman Adyon, for
Yeah,
your
before, I
manifestation.
guess we have already ruled on the motion to
Invite. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Just to put context, Mr. Chair, of the manifestation of this humble representation. Mr. Chair, the reason why I wanted Attorney Delga to be present, in fact today, and not pass dun sa next meeting is, I agree with Congressman Pete Flores that he is not competent to answer questions pertaining to the implementation of illegal war or drugs. But just to be honest, Mr. Chair, I don't think the former president will ever attend the Quad Committee hearing. I'm sorry to say that. I really have a strong feeling that he will never attend the Quad Committee. And since Attorney Delga is his lawyer, I would wanted to ask him about the content of his letter. I'm sure he's a capable lawyer and competent enough to elucidate to this representation, being a non-lawyer, what does he mean by subornation? Because
Yes,
that's one of the allegations. Number two, Mr. Chair, I also wanted to ask Attorney Delga, which part of the testimony of his client in the Senate during the committee hearing, which portion of it is joke and which portion of it is true? Because he's trying to provide us, from advising us to just simply request the transcript from the Senate. Mr. Chair, I have no problem if individuals want to, make other people laugh all the time. I have no trouble with that. If you want to turn yourselves as clowns, that's your business, that's your concern. But not at the expense of serious issues. Not at the expense of the collateral damages, the innocents who have died during the course of the illegal war on drugs.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Congressman.
my only point, Mr. Chair, that I'd like to manifest.
Yeah,
Thank you very
your
much.
observation is noted, and we will consider discussion on that particular observation when we come to that at the proper time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your manifestation. Now, marami po kasi tayong naimbita at dalawa po yung ating topic ngayon, no? Yung EJK at saka yung ating drugs. No? And we will proceed first with the topic on the illegal drugs. So, may we ask the COMSEC first to please administer the oath of the resource persons we invited for the first time in this committee hearing. And then we will proceed with the hearing proper. COMSEC?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those who are attending for the first time, please stand. And please raise your right hand for the oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry, so help you God? Yes. Thank you. They all said yes, sir. The oath has been administered. Thank you.
Okay, maraming salamat sa ating mga resource persons. Thank you, COMSEC. I have here a list of those people, of the members who wish to interpolate. But before that, there is a manifestation by Congressman Bordado. You are recognized. You're given 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I rise today to express my commendation for the exemplary work being conducted over the past few months by what is now popularly known as the Quadcomm, a veritable super body composed of 4 standing House committees tasked to investigate the issues surrounding the Philippine offshore gaming operators, or the POGOs, and the extrajudicial killings. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I would like to recognize the tireless efforts of the chairman of the following committees. Representative Robert A. Barbers of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, who acts as the chairman of the Quadcomm. Representative Dan S. Fernandez of the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Representative Bienvenido M. Abandi Jr. of the Committee on Human Rights, and Representative Joseph Carraps Paduano of the Committee on Public Accounts. Their leadership, transparency, and unwavering commitment to truth-seeking have been truly commendable. Through their painstaking efforts, the Quadcomm has not only brought critical issues to light, but also raised the bar for how we should approach investigations in this chamber with integrity, impartiality, and a clear sense of purpose. I also wish to extend my deepest gratitude to Senior Deputy Speaker Dong Gonzales, Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez, and Representative Romy Acop, the Chair of the Committee on Transportation and Vice Chair of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Additionally, Mr. Chairman, I must commend our esteemed interpellators, young and very intelligent, who have fearlessly asked the difficult questions and examined the facts with diligence. Their perseverance in scrutinizing the details and challenging those who stand before the committee has brought us closer to the truth, and in turn provided a glimmer of hope to the families of those affected by these tragedies. Mr. Chairman, I had every intention to join this interpellation myself, but as it stands, I lack the comprehensive data that my colleagues have already so expertly gathered and utilized. In their capable hands, they have unearthed vital information that moves us closer to accountability and justice. As stated earlier by Representative Abante, no one, no matter how powerful, should it be immune from accountability. The perpetrators of these heinous acts must face the full consequences of the law, and we owe it to the families of the victims to seek justice with unyielding resolve. Mr. Chairman, likewise, the inquiry into the Pogos has revealed very disturbing truths about their impacts on our society. The revelations surrounding criminal activities tied to these operators demand our swift and decisive action to ensure that such harmful elements are rooted out and prevented from further damaging our social and economic fabric. Mr. Chairman, let us remain united in our pursuit of truth, justice, and accountability. We must not allow this investigation to falter, nor the voices of those who seek justice to go unheard. As public servants, it is our duty to ensure that the truth is uncovered, that justice is served, and that we work together to prevent such abuses from ever occurring again. With that, I once again thank and commend the chairman, the interpellators, and all those who have worked tirelessly to champion the cause of truth and justice. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Congressman Bordado. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagpupuri sa Quadcomm, and this would not have been possible, of course, as we all know, without the support of the Secretariat, the members of the 19th Congress, as well as the leadership of the House, headed by the Speaker himself, Speaker Martin Romualdez. So before we proceed with the... Yes, Congressman Suarez?
Yeah.
just because the good congressman mentioned my name, can I just have 2 minutes?
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would like to thank Congressman Brodado for your kind words. But the success of the Quadcomm is not solely because of the efforts of the representatives of the 19th Congress, but also of the resource persons who come, who make time, who patiently wait for their time to be heard, and to be given the opportunity to explain. That's why I would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, my disappointment that our former president is absent today. In fact, dito po talaga natin malalaman yung katotohanan pag nabibigyan natin ng pagkakataon ng mga tao magsalita at magpaliwanag. At kung hindi po natin bubuksan ng mga usapin na mabibigat at mahihirap, paano po natin mabibigyan ng hustisya at katarungan at sagot sa maraming tanong na bumabalot sa ating bansa? Napakita na po ng ating community na nagbibigay at nakakapaglabas tayo ng mga legislation, proposed legislation. I would like to commend the chairman of this committee for again earlier today going to the records department and submitting another proposed measure which I think will benefit the country with regards to the forfeiture of illegally source properties na pwede pong maibigay at magamit ng ating mga mamamayang Pilipino. So muli, Congressman Brodado, nagpapasalamat po ako sa mga magagandang salita mo at sana magsilbing inspirasyon to para sa ating lahat na patuloy po natin ipaglaban ng katotohanan at hanapin po natin ang mga tamang solusyon sa mga totoong problema na hinaharap ng ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Suarez. Before we proceed with the hearing proper, ito muna i-acknowledge natin yung ating mga members who just came in. Congressman Ernesto Ernix Junicio Jr., Congressman Lordan Suwan, Congressman Patrick Michael Vargas, Congressman Jefferson Konghun, Congressman Salvador Plato, Congressman Joboy Aquino. Welcome and good morning po sa inyo. Now, we have on Zoom a former member of the Philippine National Police who was the, if I'm not mistaken, the deputy of the drug enforcement group, that operated on several illegal clandestine shabu laboratories and anti-illegal drug operations in the past. And I think he is now on Zoom. May we ask Colonel Asherto if you are present? Kayo po ba'y nandiyan dyan sa... Can you hear us?
Opo, narinig ko po kayo.
Okay.
Magandang umaga po.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Colonel. Colonel, maaaring alam nyo na po na ang ating topic ngayong umaga ay tungkol po sa illegal drugs. And bilang isang operatiba ng anti-illegal drugs noong kayo'y nasa Philippine National Police pa, maaari po bang bigyan nyo kami ng idea kung ano ho ba ang inyong mga operation noon na may kinalaman dito sa pagpapahinto nitong illegal drugs dito sa ating bansa?
Marami po kami ginawang operation. Ang example po is yung sa Antipolo, ang una pong laboratory na nahuli na merong na-actual na nagluluto at more than 1 ton o 1,000 kilos ang nakuha po doon. Meron din po kami nakuha ng laboratory sa Mandawi, Cebu.
Excuse me lang po, wala ho kasi kayong video eh. Pwede bang, can we ask the technical, pwede bang may video? Yan. And kayo, nakikita niyo po ba ang komite? Colonel Asherto?
Hindi po. Hindi ko po nakikita.
So, can you
Pero naka-on po ang video ko.
Ayan. Can you please, technical? And before that, abang inaayos pa ho ng technical, may we ask you to take your oath, Colonel Acerto. Comsec, please administer the oath.
Sumabay po ako kanina.
Nag-oath ka na kanina.
Sumabay po ako para save time po.
O hindi po namin nakita kasi, Colonel, so pwede po ba nating ulitin nang sa ganun, may record po kami na kayo po sumumpa at nag-oath. Comsec, please take note.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Sir, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this congressional inquiry? So help you God. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Acerto.
Okay, thank
sir.
you, Colonel Acerto. Pwede po bang ulitin ninyo inyong report kanina?
Banggitin ko lang po yung mga ibang mga naalala ko mga operation namin. Una po yung San Tipolo na unang pagkakataon na merong nahuling aktor na nagluluto sa loob ng Shabu Laboratory at sobra 1,000 kilos ng Shabu ang nakuha doon. Sumunod isang Mandawi Cebu na mga more than 16 yata na foreign nationals na nandun na mix, mayroong Indonesia, Malaysia. Then yung famous na Shabu Tiangge sa Pasig. At ang isa pa ay ang sa Davao, sa Dongway, Davao City, na nabas namin ang Shabu Laboratory doon noong 2004, December 31 po. Yun lang po yung marami pa ako kaya hindi ko na po maalala. Pero yun po yung mga significant na trabaho namin.
Sige, maraming salamat po, Colonel Acerto. Ang aming pong mga kasamahan dito ay gusto rin po magtanong sa inyo. The first to interpellate is Congressman Benny Abante. You are recognized, Congressman Abante.
Magandang umaga sa iyo at Colonel Acerto.
Magandang umaga po.
Kayo po pala ay na-assign na sa iba't ibang PNP stations, ano po?
Sa totoo po, ako po ay lagi naka-assign sa mga task forces. Hindi po ako na-assign sa station o sa probinsya. Lagi pong special unit yung aking pong assignment.
At kayo po
Anti-illegal drugs sa PAOP.
At kayo po ay nasa ilalim ng sino pong opisyal, usually? Sa isa lang po ba kayo nasa ilalim ng opisyal o ilang opisyal lang kayo po ay nasa ilalim nila?
Ang mga boss ko po ay yung mga director namin, director ng PCOT o Task Force Commander, na sila General Alipay hanggat umabot kay General Bacalso, General Nick De Leon, General Kakda. Then nung bandang huli na, ang pinakahuling boss ko po ay si Colonel Pero, si General Mijares. Yun po ang mga naging boss ko po.
Alam po ba nila ang inyong involvement sa mga operasyon na ito? At alam po ba nila ang inyong mga in-expose recently? Involved po ba sila dyan o hindi po?
Ako po, hindi man po ako nagtatrabaho ng di alam ng boss ko. Alam po nila lahat yun. Kung ang tinutukoy niyo po ay tungkol dun sa report na ginawa ko tungkol kay Michael Yang at kay Alan Lim, alam po yan ng aking director during that time na si Director Mijares.
Meron po ba silang ginawang report tungkol dito o kayo po ba ay nag-agree po ba sila sa inyo o sila po ba ay sumang-ayon o nakasama kayo upang expose to mga bagay na ito?
kasayang palad po, sinubit ko po ang report ko kay General Bato, pero wala pong nangyari. Hindi po niya inaksyonan. Iba po ang ginawa niya. Ang ginawa niya is ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim. Imbis na ako yung kausapin na gumawa ng report, si Alan Lim ang kinausap niya. Then, nagbigay din po ako ng report kay Director General Aquino ng PIDEA. Sa kanya naman po, in fairness po sa kanya, pinatawag niya ako, kinausap niya ako, in-explain ko sa kanya yung report ko kung paano ko nakuha, at ang sabi niya, ipapaabot niya sa Malacanang. Pero, nung pumutok na po ito, medyo nag-deny po siya na ang sabi niya is hindi niya maalala kung kanino niya binigay sa Malacanang. Nakakapagtaka naman po noon eh. Napaka-importante yung report, di alam kung kanino iniwan yung report, kanino ibinigay. Then nagbigay din po ako ng report kay General Albayalde, Chief PNP Albayalde. At nung una, dininay niya, ganun din, dininay niya nung una, pero nung sinabi siya mayroong litrato, medyo naaalala niya. So inamin din niya, pero wala siyang ginawa. Katulad nila General Bato de la Rosa, Aaron Aquino, at Oscar Albayalde, wala silang ginawa doon sa report. Talagang pinabayaan nila yung report. Then, hanggang sa umabot na yung hindi nila ma-dispute yung aking report, ang ginawa nila is ako yung sinaraan. Sinaraan ako at yung team ko. At dahil nga doon, yung isang kasamahan ko na gumawa ng report, binukot, si Captain Lito Perote, hanggang ngayon nawawala. At ang isa ay binaril, namatay, si retired Master Sergeant Jerry Liwanag. Wala pong umaksyon sa report ko.
Ano po ang posisyon ni Senator Bato de la Rosa nung kinausap niyo siya tungkol sa bagay na ito?
Siya po ang chief PNP noon, pero hindi po kami nag-usap ni minsan tungkol sa report ko. Hindi niya ako kinausap. Ang kinausap niya ay si Alan Lim o si Lin Wenxiong. Yun ang kinausap niya.
Kung hindi po kayong kinausap ni Senator Bato, paano po niya nalaman ang inyong operasyon?
Nalaman niya po na meron akong report dahil meron po nagsabi sa kanya na meron akong report tungkol kay Lin Wenxiong o Alan Lim. Nalaman niya yung report ko na kay Director Tascolan. Tinawagan niya po si Director Tascolan at pinakuha niya yung report ko. Nalaman ko po ito kasi tinawagan ako ni General Tascolan. Tinatanong ako kung nag-usap kami ni Chief PNP Bato that time. Kasi bakit ba pinapakuha yung report ko? Ang sabi ko kay General Tascolan, sir, hindi po ako pinakausap, hindi ko po alam kung paano niya nalaman na meron akong report na ibinigay sa inyo.
Noong pong 2017, sino po ang Director General ng Philippine National Police? Si Bato rin po ba?
During that time po, siya pa po ang director.
At kayo po'y gumawa ng isang report. Kayo po'y gumawa ng isang report noong 2017 na kung saan lumabas ang pangalan ng mga high profile na mga tao. Katulad ni na Michael Yang at Alan Lim na kilalang parehong malapit kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Tama ho ba ito?
Opo, actually meron pa isang pangalan po doon si Johnson Chua.
Johnson Chua. Opo. Ito pong report na ito ay naibigay po kay Senator Bato noong panahon niya.
Opo, naibigay po sa kanya.
Pero wala po siyang ginawa.
Ang ginawa niya po ay ang kinausap niya si Alan Lim. Then kinausap siya ni Michael Yang.
Okay. Bakit po niya kinausap si Alan Lim? Palagay niyo?
Ang alam ko po is kinontrol niya si Alan Lim at umamin si Alan Lim sa kanya na siya yung nahuli sa Cavite laboratory. na ang pangalan na ginagamit niya doon ay Wenli Chen.
Nga pala, kaano-ano mo si Miss Roslyn, kaano-ano mo si Alan Lim?
Your Honor, hindi ko po kilala si Alan Lim.
Hindi mo kilala?
Hindi po.
Okay. So, Colonel Asierto, yung pong Dumul rape, kailan po nangyari ito? Dumul rape?
December 31 po, 2004.
2004. Sino po ang Director General ng Philippine National Police noon? That time?
Si General Aglipay po.
General Aglipay. Okay. Pero po kung isang tanong doon, no? Sino po ba ang mga taong binantayan ninyo sa inyong surveillance? Tungkol dito.
Ang prominent po doon na pangalan ay si Alan C.
Alan C.
Opo.
Nasa ano po siya ngayon?
Wala na po. Nasa testimonya po ni Arturo Las Cañas kung ano yung nangyari kay Alan C.
Okay, Colonel Asierto, pakibanggit nyo nga po sa amin sa Quadcomm kung ano ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa drug at ang koneksyon ni Michael Yang sa dating Pangulo.
Si Michael Yang po ay nung inibisigahan po namin yung sa Domoy noong 2004, si Michael Yang po ay hindi namin nakikita. Kasi po ang participation niya ay nagsimula o yung aming surveillance is nagsimula noong October 2004. Pero ang participation ni Michael Yang, base doon sa informasyon na nakuha namin, is nagsimula sa ng August. Ang participation niya is siya yung tumanggap ng dalawang 40-footer container van na naglalaman ng mga saring-saring gamit ng mga chemicals at equipment at mga ibang produkto na ginamit sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Domoy at yung doon sa nahuli sa Cagayan de Oro. Yun ang participation ni Michael Yang sa Domoy. So, August siya nag-participate, pero during our surveillance ng October hanggang mabas namin noong December 31, hindi namin siya nakita. Si Michael Yang po ay una kong natanggap ang information sa kanya noong April 2016, campaign period. Ito po ay ipinakita sa akin ang litrato na magkatabi si Michael Yang, si then presidential candidate Rodrigo Roa Duterte at si Bongo na nasa loob ng isang pribadong eroplano. Yan po ay 2016. Ang sabi sa akin ng asset is magkaibigan si Michael Yang at si then Mayor presidential candidate Duterte. So, nung matanggap ko po yung informasyon dahil 2016 campaign, hindi ko po muna ginalaw kasi parang hindi pa ho hinog yung informasyon. Nung manalo na si Pangulong Duterte,
Pero madami yun, gawa ng maliliit.
at nasimula na yung war on drug na maraming namamatay, sinimulan ko na po yung aking betting doon sa informasyon na natanggap ko tungkol kay Michael Yang. So, base doon sa betting na ginawa namin, meron kami nakakausap na isang tao na meron ding involvement doon sa pagtatayo ng laboratory sa Domoy noong 2004. Nagkataon na natagpuan siya ni then Captain Lito Perote. So kinausap namin siya sa Davao noong August 2016. 17. Nag-meet kami doon.
So,
Kinausap namin siya.
Ano siya to? Hindi pa kayo nakita ni Michael Yang kahit minsan.
Ay, hindi pa po.
Si Alan
Hindi pa
Lim,
po, hindi pa po.
nakita na pa kayo ni Alan Lim.
Ay, hindi pa rin po. Hindi pa rin po.
Meron kaming picture dito na kasama ang dating Pangulo. Can we get the picture there? Na kinakausap niya si Michael Yang
Tapos meron siya dito
at si Alan Lim. So, ibig niyong sabihin, Colonel Asherto, sa inyong investigasyon, na talagang nasisiguro nyo na may koneksyon ang dating Pangulo sa mga illegal na gawain ni Michael Yang at ni Alan Lim.